And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, Director of WEIU TV and Radio. My co-host is Corbin Cox. Welcome back, Corbin.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk all things EIU Library. We have Anna Nelson, Marketing Director for Booth. Welcome, Anna.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Our first show. And Trevor Burrows, second show. You are the Digital Initiatives Coordinator at Booth?
Correct, yes.
Well, welcome back, and thanks for both of you coming in today on a little bit of issues and attitudes about the Booth Library. Since Anna's relatively new here at Eastern, 3 months, why don't we talk a little bit first about you and your background and how you came to be at Booth?
Sure. So before I accepted the position at Booth, I worked for 10 years for the city of Tuscola in the tourism department. And then 3 months ago, I switched over, and now I'm working at Booth Library. Excited to be here. I'm learning a lot. But even though I'm new to the position, I'm not new to EIU, so I am an alum. I graduated from here a few years ago.
And Trevor, same. A little bit about you?
Yeah, so I've been here now for, this is going on my fourth semester, so almost 2 years. And I work in the library as the Digital Initiatives Coordinator, and I also split my position with the Department of History. I'm an instructor there as well.
Oh, cool.
And I came here most recently from one of my last positions was a postdoctoral position at Purdue University.
Okay, cool. Well, I know you have all kinds of things going on. Why don't we say, let's start with some of the author. There's an authors program going on.
Yes, so we have a speaker series starting actually this week, Authors at EIU. It is all about celebrating EIU faculty that have recently accomplished writing a book. So it's the inaugural event is this Wednesday, February 28th. We'll start at 5 p.m. With a reception, and then at 5:30 the author talks will start. So we've got 3 of these planned for the semester, one in February, March, and April. And each one highlights 2 authors. So they're just varying topics, but it's going to be a fun evening learning about interesting topics from local experts.
Okay. Corbin?
For that program, did you see a lot of interest from professors who had published, being like, hey, I want a place to talk about my book, or was it more like you guys came up with it and approached the professors?
So I believe the deans kind of came up with a list of their faculty members that have recently published a book, and then from there we kind of narrowed down what we thought would be interesting. So this is definitely not a list of everyone, but we will continue doing each semester, maybe like 2 or 3. That way we can highlight even more.
Cool. There's some Booth Awards for Excellence. Can you talk about that, or I don't know if that's under Anna or Trevor's job?
Yeah. So that is a award that we're doing for research projects. So there's an undergraduate and a graduate category, and they can be anywhere from like research papers to like more creative works like video, podcasting, musical works. And the only criteria is that it has to be research through Booth Library in the past 12 months. So the deadline for that is the 29th, and students can win awards up to $300.
Cool.
None right now.
All right. The Digital Sandbox workshops are going on. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something I do every semester. They're usually held through the Center for Student Innovation, which I help to coordinate. And the Digital Sandbox workshops are really an opportunity for both faculty and students to come in and learn a new bit of technology, a new method for research or for teaching and learning. Try it out in a space that's pretty casual. You can make mistakes. It's okay. It's participatory. It's interactive. So we've got 4 workshops that we're holding this semester on everything from building interactive timelines with an application called Timeline.js to doing some text data mining with JSTOR resources, a popular database through the library, to even some use of GIS technology and ArcGIS story maps, which lets you create these cool digital publications that are based on maps and that are interactive for your users. So a pretty wide range of stuff that we'll be doing.
Now, who comes up with all those?
That stuff is mostly me, but I try to take suggestions from students that I work with and faculty. I kind of have 1 or 2 that I do every semester now that I kind of rotate through, and then 1 or 2 that I try to do something a little more current or a little more recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What are some other resources that the Center for Student Innovation can provide?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we've got a wide range of technology for students. So we have 3D printers, we have a Cricut machine, we have podcasting station, some virtual reality equipment, and we also have a large active learning space, and all of that is really available to students and faculty. And we've also got, in addition to the sandbox workshops, we have some 101 workshops coming up that help you learn how to use that stuff as well.
Okay. What's the cricket? I didn't know.
Yeah, I was,
Oh, yeah.
Jeff and I gave each other a little look like,
I was hoping you knew.
No, I didn't.
The Cricut machine is often used for various arts. It can help you cut out paper into interesting designs. You can also do things like it can be used to even make vinyl clings and things of that sort. And we've just got one machine. It would be great to have more because it's one of our most popular machines. But I know especially some folks in education really like to use it to create things for their bulletin boards, or I don't understand dorm culture entirely, but I know RAs use it a lot for creating things to
Nice.
decorate spaces with.
So students pay attention to stuff, I think is what that's for.
Absolutely, yeah, I think so. I think so.
The one-on-one workshops, why don't you just go ahead and tell us about those? since
Sure.
you got it? I know
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, correct?
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Yeah, so starting in March, every other week, we'll have 101 workshops that are focused on 3D printing, using the Cricut and using our podcasting or audio recording equipment. And those will be taught. This is our first time doing it where we're actually having our GA, our wonderful GA staff, helping out with that programming. So that'll be 5 o'clock. You can find the full list of dates for March and April on the CSI website. We encourage you to register so that we know how many people are coming, and you can do that through the library website. But you're also free to just walk in and have a good time.
There you go.
I know you said the Cricut machine is popular. Are there any other like resources that you wish were maybe used more by students that you're like, this is a really good one we have, and not a lot of people use it?
Yeah, that is a great question. You know, surprisingly, the VR headset that we have is not used nearly as much as you might think. Some students know about it, and I think they kind of they keep it a little secret so that they know they can get it whenever
Those
they
ball
want it.
hogs in sports,
Exactly,
right?
yeah. But we would love to see people use the VR equipment a little more. You can make a reservation for that online, and that you really don't need any special training.
VR is virtual reality in case people
Yeah,
out
I'm
there
sorry, yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Just so people, we don't know who's listening or watching. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've got folks who use it for games, but also we have some faculty who use it for educational experiences. They've got assignments that are built around it. So there's all sorts of fun stuff you can do.
That's
with it.
interesting. I never thought about like using VR for assignments. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Laptop loan extension, talk about that.
Yeah, I can share a little bit about that. So this semester, we've doubled the fleet of the laptops we're able to loan out. So with that, there's been an extension in the loaning period. So essentially, students can loan or can check out a laptop for the entire semester. It's just,
wow.
yeah, so it'll just be due the last day of the semester. So that's pretty exciting. And I think it's something the students are really excited about that
Yeah, I
are taking
for
advantage
kids who
of
can't
it.
afford it or
Yeah.
don't have access or the means,
Right.
the fact they use for the whole semester is going to be not really nice, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know one of the popular things we did last year, or we talked about last year, is the blind date with the book. I think this is one of the coolest ideas that the library's done for the past couple of years, I believe. And just tell people who don't understand what it is or don't know what it is,
Sure.
what it is.
So Blind Date with a Book is a book display that we have in the library. And essentially, one of our librarians will pull interesting books and then they wrap them up. And on the outside, they have descriptions of the book. And then students can choose what book they'd like to check out just based on the description. So it's kind of like don't judge a book by its cover. So that display will be up till Wednesday. So it's been up through the month of February. And it's a fun display for, to try new books and new titles that you might not have checked out before.
I think it's a cool idea. Is there something afterwards? Do the students come back and give response, or are they allowed a feedback to the program?
I'm sure they could definitely leave feedback when they return the book. I know in past they've done like a survey, but I don't think that they did that this year.
Oh, the book sale's coming up as well?
It
In
is.
April? I mean,
Yeah.
actually, it's coming up, but I mean, we're almost to March.
It
right?
is, yeah. So April 17th is the book sale, and so that is held outside of the library near the clock tower. And that will happen from 9 to 4. If for whatever reason, knock on wood, it does rain, it'll be the following Wednesday. But it's a great fundraiser for the library. And most of the items are between $1 and $2, so it's really good for patrons that want to expand their collection. So.
Okay.
what are some programs you've been involved with so far at Booth that have been like your favorite?
Ooh, good question. Probably I would say the library ambassadors, so the lab group. It's our student group, and they're just a fun group of kids, students that love the library, so it's fun to interact with them.
Oh, you call them kids too, huh?
I try not to.
I get caught in that all the time. Had a brain lock there. Oh, social media with the lab.
Yeah.
They're doing a lab takeover thing.
Yes. So I was going to invite anyone that doesn't already follow us on social media to do that. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And on Tuesdays, the lab, the student ambassador program, they take over our social media on Tuesdays. So it's a fun post. So they'll do a feed post. Sometimes they'll do videos. And they usually post in stories on Instagram too. So it's just fun to kind of see what they think is cool about the library and what they want to share. And they recently had a video do really well. It had about 1,500 views on our Instagram, which isn't viral by any means, but for our page, it was pretty cool. And
Slightly viral.
Yeah. So we were super proud of them.
You've only been here 3 months, Annie. I know you're familiar with the area, but what have you kind of learned so far in these first 3 months, or good, bad, ugly, or talk about that.
Sure. Let's see. One of the things that I didn't realize when I talked about the laptop loaner program, how some students just don't have access to laptops. And so that was something that I had never really thought about. And so I think that's just such a cool program that it's allowing the students to have access to that technology.
Have you had to overcome any challenges in the first 3 months the learning curve, or have you hit the ground running, you think?
I think I've hit the ground running. Gosh, it is overwhelming when you start a new job. I hadn't started a new job in 10 years. So, there was a learning curve with that for sure.
And Trevor, you've been there for a little longer now. Is there stuff that you kind of find that's new and kind of fascinating, even though you've been there at the library for a while?
We've always got new programming in the hopper. It seems like every semester there's something new that we're trying, whether it's new exhibits, whether there's a new, like the Authors at EIU program. That's really brand new.
It is,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the past a similar program has been run, but it's new for us, and so I just like seeing everything that we come up with every semester. It's really collaborative, and faculty get an opportunity to try new things with both programming and the way they support their departments, and I just enjoy watching what we come up with.
With the Authors at EIU, I mean, is there any, you guys know how many different books are written by Eastern Illinois people every year?
I don't know. Do you have any idea?
I mean, I didn't know.
I don't, but we do try to make sure that they're added to the collection, and then we also have a faculty reading room where you can see many of those books in person and grab a copy and check out for yourself. And I think, is the Authors program being held? It's either near the faculty reading room?
It's in the West Reading Room, so
Okay, cool.
close to it.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
we
you
have
have to stop there.
the finance, the lady from finance who wrote a book?
Okay, cool.
I cannot think of her name right now, so
Escapes me
I
too.
feel bad.
Yeah.
And she's talking about financing and how, it was cool. So, sorry.
Every discipline's a little different as far as how they sort of share their findings, share their research.
Yeah.
Some disciplines are really book focused, like history is a very book focused. Political science is still often, I think, more book focused. So I'm not sure. Are we doing journal articles with that too, or is it mostly books right now?
Journal articles can be included, but all of the ones that we have chosen for this semester are
Awesome.
our books.
Great.
Jeff, when are you going to get a book in the faculty reading collection?
Ooh.
I need to think about that.
Yeah.
Now. I could write a book with the stories from WEIU.
I was gonna say, I know you got one in you
Yeah,
somewhere.
I may have to change a few names, but yeah, we'll be all right. Other stuff that's coming up, as the semester wraps up. We have a couple months left here, believe it or not. With March coming, other events that are this spring we want to talk about that you want to talk about.
I know the solar eclipse is going to be a fun collaborative week of events. We don't have the whole schedule completed yet, but if you follow us on our social media and our website, we will definitely be posting the finalized poster for that. But I know that Booth Library will kind of be a hub for some of those events. If we're not actually hosting them, there are events happening at the library.
And I know the week of the eclipse, we're going to have the show on issues will be an eclipse-related show. That
Perfect.
also.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll send you a link on that. So you know.
And the physics department has already started a speaker series. So on Monday nights, they have a speaker series in the Wooders room, our conference room. So, some of that stuff is already kicked off.
RSO book displays, you also want to talk about that or something? Is that right?
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that we have our RSOs book displays. So they just do every month we have a different one come in and do a display. So the group will get to choose the books, and then we have one of our librarians pull them, and then they get to kind of decorate or coordinate the display however they want. So it's kind of fun to watch how they work. And again, I'm learning about all the different RSOs that are on campus.
There's a lot of them.
There are, and a lot of interesting ones like the line dancing. Did not know that existed.
And that
so
one's
that's pretty cool.
retaken off, it seems, in town even. I mean,
Yeah.
so I thought line dancing was a thing in the past, you know.
think
And I
they-
grew up working at a country station, so
Okay.
it's funny that it's come back.
I think they had a book display, right? The line,
Yes,
the line dancing RSO.
they did.
Yeah.
And then like the pickleball club, they had one, and theirs was actually very visually like pleasing. It was very aesthetic. They had brought in their pickleball paddles, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's another thing that's caught on amazingly in this area.
Yeah.
What did students ask you both the most when they come into the library?
You know, it's interesting. Even though the CSI, it has a particular scope. That part of the library gets a lot of general technology questions that we often have to kind of field to others or reference to others. But I think what's kind of cool about Booth is we get questions about everything, and we have to sort of figure out where to send folks. But yeah, in the CSI, we often get where can I get a laptop? Which is great because we have a good answer for that. And then sometimes, how do I fix my laptop? Which is a little more complicated, but we can try. You know.
Anna, do you deal much with students where they ask you questions?
The only thing that pops out is printing issues. So our office, we get hit up a lot for printing issues.
Now, Trevor, I'm going to put you on the spot here and let
That's
you
fine, yeah.
instead of being the asker, be the answerer. What do you find most interesting at our EIU Booth Library?
I think the way it's designed is so interesting. Like the fact that it was multiple buildings before,
Oh,
just like
yeah.
whenever I walk through, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's a very neat place. But I also think it's got so many like resources that I think are untapped. Like I use the DVD library a lot, and there's some stuff there that's really hard to find in other places, and I just don't think people are aware of that.
Yeah.
Because like people are like, where can I stream it? I'm like, just get a DVD player, and they probably have it at Booth. It's become a thing in my friend group. If we can't find a movie, they're like, check and see if Booth has it, and 9 times out of 10 they do.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, we should say too, I mean, so we've got a great reference desk that can help with questions like that. Where can I find X, or what do you have access to that I maybe don't know about? We've got a reference desk that's staffed with faculty librarians who, of course, for fun stuff are happy to help, but also for research and helping you figure out where to find sources for your papers. And then even the circulation desk, the main desk on the 3rd floor, is happy to help with a lot of those sorts of questions too.
Libraries have changed a lot over the last 15 to 20 years with technology and social media, and you're being relatively new again, Anna. Is there things you would like to see Booth continue to morph into in the future? Have you got future ideas, or is it still too early for you?
I know the semester before I came, they put a big focus on AI and kind of what the library can do to help facilitate faculty learning more and students learning more. So I definitely see that becoming like a big focus in the upcoming semesters.
What about social media? How has it changed how you both do your jobs in terms of the promotional aspect of Booth and things moving forward?
That's a good question. We have our own social media accounts in the CSI that we advertise stuff like the digital sandbox workshops through, and the 101 workshops, and that's a great way to engage. I think we might just be starting with TikTok, but I'm not sure if that's happened yet or not. But it is interesting to see students find us that way and to register for events both in the CSI and I know more broadly for the library in general.
Yeah. I think it is interesting. You can like instantly share events that you have going on. You don't have to, it's not like you're putting up a poster, although we still do that. So I think that definitely has changed. And then just recently, I feel like sometimes you're trying to crack the code on how to get Facebook and Instagram to share your things. And so we found that video content is doing really well for us, and harnessing our students to kind of help facilitate that.
Anything scheduled for maybe the next year that you think will be new ideas or new exhibits at Booth as you move? I know it seems like Booth's one of the places on campus that always is looking forward to new events.
I can say that we are hoping to add, so we do these 101 workshops every semester. We're hoping to add kind of a next tier, at least for 3D printing and for podcasting. So I'm working with some of our staff to develop stuff for learning to do a little bit of modeling for 3D design that you could then use to print 3D objects through. So that'll be like a 3D printing 102 sort of thing. And then similarly for podcasting, how do you get a little more serious with the actual audio design aspect, and getting to learn some of the software that's out there for that.
Students are brand new to Eastern. How do you get them to come into the booth the first time? I mean, isn't that the toughest? Once they come in, they'll come. We know they'll come back, but how do you get them that first time in?
So we have an awesome first year experience in student success librarian, Amy Odorka. That's like her main goal, is getting those students in the door. Like you said, once they're in, they'll keep coming back, throughout the years. So she has a lot of programming that she does, just kind of pulling those students in. Was it our Res Nights?
The Res Nights.
Res Nights, where they invite them to come over, and just like a stress-free environment where they can come in and kind of explore the library, but there's no like stress with it. It's just kind of come and have fun, and that's the hope, is that they'll come back.
Is it kind of like a tour? Do you give them tours if they want a tour?
Do you know anything?
That's a really great question. I'm sure we have an organized tour some way. I know new students, when they are just coming on, get an initial tour, or admitted students, or there's some connection there. But that's a great question. I don't know if we have a more organized program for that or not.
Is there a challenge in marketing libraries in the world we live today? Or I know social media, but is there some kind of challenge to get people there and to use them more?
I think so, yeah. One of the biggest or issues, I guess, is just trying to connect with students on social media, and kind of figuring out how we can reach them a little bit better.
Okay.
I think students sometimes have and not just students, all community members have an idea that libraries they're just books, and they don't recognize that at this point books are just a fraction of what we do, and really it's been that way for a long time, but it's sometimes hard to break through that.
Right.
That sensibility.
Yeah, because everybody just thinks libraries. I mean, your first thought of is books when you think of library, but it's completely different
so
now.
much more.
And I think Rob was talking about it in the morning show. People don't realize that Booth is just not for EIU students. It is open to the public if they want around here if they want. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Right. So, do you know exactly what they have access to? I know they can come in and check things out.
And I believe they're welcome to use some of the computers that we have set up for accessing databases on campus and things like that. There are some things that you don't have access to as a community member. Like I'm not sure how, for instance, things like ILL or interlibrary loan works in that context. But most physical items that we have here in the library, you have full access to, and even checkout privileges, just like any other community library.
You were talking about how the library is more than books now. There's a thing I've seen recently on social media where some libraries are lending out things just like tools and stuff to use around the home. Does Booth do that, or is that something in the cards for Booth?
We have a couple of unique things. So we have a sewing machine that you can check out, which is pretty cool. We have 2 electric guitars.
Really?
There are some board games, and I think that collection is actually growing quite a bit, the board game collection. And then some other tech kind of related equipment like microphones and webcams and things of that sort that you might need for different purposes. But we don't have some of the public libraries now have some really cool stuff around, like seed checkout programs for getting a garden started and things like that. And I don't think we're quite there yet.
You can't really bring those back, though.
Yeah, you can't bring them back. But I don't think we have quite that range yet, but there's always room.
Do you still have magazines, or is there magazine usage there? I mean, because magazines unfortunately are going away. It seems like almost weekly, but I love magazines. So
yeah, no, there's absolutely magazines on the bottom floor of the library, kind of right across from the Center for Student Innovation, is where I think most of the magazines are kept. I'm not sure if there's another area in the library or not, but you're welcome to peruse them there, and there's plenty of good seating down there too. It's a nice quiet spot.
For both of you, is there maybe one program, event, or resource that that's your dream to bring to the library? Like there's one
the
thing
old
you
magic
could do.
wand question. Yeah.
This might be a better question for you.
Oh no. That's a tough question. So a lot of the stuff that I help to program is a little more tech oriented, and sometimes it would be nice to be able to offer programs that extend over several days, because you can really engage with students or faculty a lot more and really get into something with a little more depth. So all of the workshops I do right now are kind of standalone workshops that are 1 or 2 hours, and that's it. I would love to see an opportunity for programming that maybe takes something and spans a little more time than that and explores something from different angles. But
Do both of you have a favorite place in Booth that you're your way to escape or to study or to just get away from it all and think about what your next day's work is going to be like? Is there one of those places?
what about you?
The first spot that comes to mind is the massage chairs. So I don't know if you know, we have 2 massage chairs
We
on the
learn all
third
kinds
floor.
of stuff today.
So those are pretty cool.
Although those are often claimed, I've noticed,
Yeah.
and they're pretty new, but they're already, people know about them, and so you've got to schedule, I think, in advance. I really like. There's a kind of a second floor between the third floor and the first floor, but it's easy to miss because it's kind of hidden off the center stairwell, and I really enjoy that space. It's just really quiet. Most folks that are there are pretty seriously studying, but there are stacks back there. It's kind of fun to browse. That's where we have a lot of government documents and things like that. And it's just kind of a unique spot in the library.
It is cool, but I also almost hit my head every time I'm there.
It's a little shorter, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is kind of a half floor almost.
All right. Well, let's ask 8 unrelated questions. And Corbin, there may be some that you can participate in too. Who do you call for advice? If there's somebody out there. Yep. You have a mentor in the library world.
Oh, that's a really good question. You know, I have folks that I've leaned on throughout my graduate program, throughout my early career, but it's hard to pick just one. I don't
Okay.
know. How about you?
It's not really library related, but at any time I need advice, I call my mom.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
who I call.
Favorite library other than Booth?
Oh shoot, what's the downtown Chicago library? I'm blanking on the name of it, but there's a wonderful
We'll just call
library
it Downtown
downtown.
Chicago Library.
Yeah, we'll just call it the downtown. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but there's a great library downtown that I used to frequent quite a bit.
I have to say the Tuscola Public Library.
All right, all 3 answers. Current book you're reading?
Why am I blanking? I just started a new book last night by Don DeLillo, but it's an old book. It's called The Names, a novel.
I have a 4-year-old, so I read a lot of children's books, and we're working through the Dr. Seuss series.
Are you reading a book right now?
In New York, I bought a book that was 365 days, 365 plays, where someone wrote a play every day for a year.
Oh,
and
cool.
I need to crack into it.
That sounds awesome.
I can't get through all 8 because you guys are so good at answering these questions. So I thank you both for coming in. And,
Thanks for having us.
All the information's easy to access. Just Google or stop by the Booth Library and visit Anna or Trevor. Everybody have a great day. We are.
Thank you very much.
WEIU.